country.
Yes, he's out the country. He said he would try, but he didn't know whether he could or not. So.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. That's right. He was going to be in France.
Mhm. Yeah, in France. That's great.
Hi, Lady J.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome to your self-realizing. Yes. We've already gotten started. We've been talking about all these, metaphors of the things we see in front of us are us. So I said, I better hit that record button. Let's get moving on that. Always good, juicy information, that helps us along with our life to see all those metaphors. So we'll start with a gratitude. Mother, Father God, we give gratitude and thank yous for this day. We ask for your infinite light of protection to be with us and through us, wherever we are, so that only the highest and best will occur through our thoughts, words, and actions. And through those thoughts, words, and actions will lead us to a better understanding of our own self. So when we meet those on our path, we have a better understanding of them. We give thanks for this day. Amen. All righty. So today we're going to be talking about one of our 12 powers, being wise. We are wise. Yes, we are. Wisdom. Was it really kind of interesting? We were talking about the eyes, Lady J, and you could just listen in or watch when you get a chance. Actually you can't, because we didn't record that part, but we were talking about all the things that we see in front of us. Emphatically is not easy to accept, but those are the things that we are, and that's the end result. And so, Jackie was talking about her little tick tick, little thing that goes on in her eye, and that's like her. She's like, maybe it's telling me to get moving and change it. And I was thinking in my mind, just take out the maybe. It is, yes, it is. So, being wise. The mind power of wisdom is located in the pit of the stomach, in the solar plexus near the pancreas gland. Judgment, discernment is wisdom. And how many people had anything going on in this area, coming up? It usually just shows up, something's going on. It's like, okay, we're ready for wisdom. Or it continues on after, and we have that week full of understanding of our wisdom. So which is greater, love or wisdom? What, lady?
I said, wow, I don't think you can have wisdom without love.
Okay. One is wise when understanding cause and effect. In order to experience good, does one need to experience pain? So we were just talking about, what we see that is us, right? And that's, a lot of the things that I hear about, loving everything or, accepting all things that are around us and, having compassion for all things around us. Well, if we are everything, then we would have compassion towards everything, yeah? When a child burns its hand on a hot stove, does the child have a larger conscious of health when the hand is healed, or does one have more knowledge of the stove? That's just something to think about. I did have that happen. It's really interesting. My mother wanted me to cook early in life. She was starting to work, and she said, get in there and make your eggs, get up early, get your stuff done. So I was probably about 7 over at the stove. I mean, just enough to where I could kind of, I had to get up on stairs, little stepping stool. And I touched the stove instead of looking at the, knob, because the knob was up. It was the newer version at that time, right? When they had them above instead of down below. So I was looking and I couldn't see it because it's too far away. So I put my hand on it. The whole thing just stuck there. And
Ow.
There I was with all the rings around the hand. I mean, how many people have done that? It's really kind of common. I did not tell my parents. I would not tell them what I did because I thought it was so dumb that I did. And so here I was with this burn and I couldn't use that hand for the longest time. So it's just kind of,
And I
Humorous.
bet every time you come across electric stove, you put your hand over it to see if it was warm.
oh yeah, you know what I do,
That-
David?
that's how I learned it.
Yeah, I get near it and then I look to make sure.
Yeah.
I don't even touch it anymore. I never get anywhere near it. I just feel it.
You know, I still do that when I get electric range, I put my hand above it and see if I feel any heat coming out of it.
So it says here, to become proficient in driving a car, does one consistently make mistakes like running stop signs or running into cars? No, right? One becomes proficient by closely following the rules that exist. And thus, the nearer one comes to the cause side of existence, the greater the one's understanding that wisdom and order rule, and one who joins wisdom and order rules the self. So understanding the wisdom of the rules and the cause of awareness, then happiness, health, and wealth will be sustained. And there is a great negative in our world. If that negative is not in our consciousness, it doesn't exist in our daily life. Referring to this, I always think of what I watch on television. You know, I am what I think I am, you know, what I pay attention to, what I'm listening to. And a lot of times I think of that as very negative, what's out there in the world, what's being said out there. So it's one thing to view error as a thing apart from us, and it's quite another to enter into the consciousness of it. So know the cause and live within the wisdom of that cause. Know the cause and live within the wisdom of the cause. Wisdom, justice, judgment, and intuition are under one head in spiritual awareness. So sensation, feeling, affection, and love are closely allied. When the desire for pleasure or sensation is indulged and wisdom ignored, a realm of awareness is established that regards the material world as only reality. So the still small voice is wisdom. And we have that all the time, don't we? Like your little tick, tick, tick. When judgment quickens, we discriminate between what is right and wrong. And when quiet and in meditation, we listen to the voice of knowing. In the heat of passion and the joy of pleasure, one doesn't listen to this still small voice. And that I can see it as more of that fight or flight too. You know, when we're in the go of it, you know, we don't necessarily hear those things. We're in our body's in that stress mode. Is the great day of judgment a time in the future? Is this a day for punishment for mistakes and misdeeds? A day of judgment is every day. Translator changed every day to a. So the translators of what? The Bible. This is a way to control people by depicting God as a vengeful God. If a law has been broken, you do not have to wait to pay for it. By waiting, one makes a mountain of a molehill. Just wait till your father gets home. Oh boy, we've heard that before, right? Discernment, pure knowing, is natural to man throughout divine sonship. When divine righteousness is called, judgment moves into action. So one standard of right and wrong goes through rapid change. Let divine guidance become steady, knowing, wisdom, judgment, discrimination, intuition, and all the departments of the mind. And every bit of food that goes through the stomach is intelligently and chemically treated at this center. Treated, the food can be distributed to many parts of the body, waiting for its center center's judgment to supply them with material to build bone, muscle, eye, ear, and hair. And to identify oneself with the intelligence working at this center, one realizes the unity with God through I am. And the I am being the Son of God, idea, always existing in one's higher awareness. Recognition of the sonship and unity with God is fundamental in all true growth. And when sending the recognition of the I am to the pit of the stomach, one is in tune with God or us. We are in tune with ourselves, yeah? Many people doubt that there is an infinite law of justice working in all things. In order for that justice to work, one needs to call into action that law in the creative center of the soul. And we called it into action. This universal law begins its work, and all laws, both great and small, fall into line. We do not make the law is, and it was established for our benefit. Jesus didn't make the laws of health. He called it into expression by getting it recognized in those who had disregarded its existence. The law exists waiting for us to identify ourselves with its wisdom, judgment, discrimination, and purity and power. It is now expressing itself in the beauty of holiness, justice, righteousness, and peace of the I am, now harmonized wisely, and establishes the kingdom of God in God's temple by body. Peace of God is now established in all. All right, what do you have to say about wisdom?
I think for me, one of the things that that I have found interesting about wisdom is that wisdom is connected to judgment, and like on that chart that we have of the mind powers on the body, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it doesn't say wisdom on there, it says judgment.
Yeah, I think it does.
And that was something that for myself, I kind of had to keep redefining what these words mean, what judgment means, because I had definitions that I kind of grew up with, or I don't know, just redefining the word judgment, using wise judgment, instead of having that negative connotation to it, that I am wise in all things, and focusing that way. That was kind of a challenge for me. It doesn't say the mind power of wisdom on there. It says judgment.
No, it does. It does.
Yeah.
It says wisdom on there.
Oh, on mine it doesn't.
Really?
Yeah, on mine it doesn't.
Huh.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, that's interesting. Got changed. So
Is yours from Fillmore?
mine is from the chapel. Mine is from, yeah, I can show you.
That's interesting.
Yes, it's my original one.
That's so interesting. David's not saying anything. I'm waiting for him to say, oh, well, I changed it.
No, it's
The only thing I have with that is it gives you other ideas what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wisdom is always expanding.
Yep. Which we are, yeah. We are always expanding.
One of the things I find out about wisdom is that there's a song that says we can all know everything without ever knowing why. And what I found for myself and a lot of friends and clients is that we spend so much time trying to figure out the why that we never hear the wisdom.
Mhm.
Yep.
What a waste of time.
Yeah, it is. They
And-
say futurizing is a waste of time because it's not present, it's not being in the now. So why or prepping for something to happen, is futurizing.
And then
Well,
also, know that fact right there is that it leads you to the control that this world has put on us, on religion and on society and everything like this. They always have a way of commanding you to be what they say it is. And when I come across something that I don't agree with, I open it up, so now I ask the expansion of why I don't understand that, and I get other ideas of what is being said. And I don't argue with them, I accept them. And eventually a more clear understanding will come of that, what they're trying to say. And I think that happens to all of us.
Yeah.
You know, another thing about asking why is like when we go through really challenging times in life,
Mhm.
if we say why, then we get shown more of it,
Right,
so rather than asking why is this happening and getting shown all the garbage that created it,
right.
it's better to move forward creating the opposite of what's happening.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't make sense sometimes to say, I love feeling happy and healthy and wealthy. And, when those things don't feel like they're happening right then, but that's what we're creating, I think that's one of the biggest
Yeah.
changes in my wisdom was learning to focus on what I'm creating rather than what I created in the past.
And that what you're creating is a little bit different than what the logic of the world is.
Yeah.
Because we are unique, yes.
Yeah.
It's-
It's joining the chapel and certainly having discussions. It's helped me be more aware of where my mind is going and judgment and wisdom and all those things. And, when it starts going off into the internal rant against whatever or whoever, and I catch myself and I go, do I really want to do this? This isn't helpful. And it's amazing how often, well, I don't know if you do it, but I do it. It's kind of scary how often your brain sort of takes off on its own and isn't always very nice. And then you catch it and say, what do I want to see in my life? And I think having these discussions and joining the chapel has really helped me be more aware and to catch myself and to not go into these negative viewpoints in the first place, but just to try and just say, chill, I don't want to get about anybody else. I can't affect their actions. I can only affect my actions. So it's been very helpful. Thank you, everybody.
You know what always helped me with this? I said, who planted that seed in me?
Right.
And then I see the person who did it, and I get much more clarity on it.
Right.
I've been asking people, when they say words just like that, just like he said that, they would give me their belief in it. And I'd say, is that you thinking that, or was that a teaching that you had? Was that, from parents or anyone that was older than you, your brothers or sisters? Is that yours that you're saying, And quite often you'll find that they're like, my mother used to say that all the time, or something, like those little things. I just actually caught myself. It was like, it was something my grandmother used to say to her animals. And then to us, every time she saw something cute. And I realize I say it every time. It's just a cute little, something. And she uses these words and I do it all the time. And I caught myself the other day and I said, oh my goodness, I wonder how long I've been doing this with my animals. This is my grandma's way of speaking, you know. It was really, if that was cute. That one worked because there was no negativity there. But how often, you know, that we goats leading goats and we just do it. We just say it. It's not even ours. And it could be generations. It could be past life. You know, our past life belief pattern too. That we brought forward. So pat yourself on the back and say, I love you. I love you. Yes, I do.
You know,
And
there's this thing that's popping into my head right now, and it's that you know, I grew up in a very religious Jewish home, and I was taught to be proud of my heritage and, you know, my religion and all of that, and my ancestors and all of that kind of stuff. And the interesting thing for me was that, like, as a child and all my formative years growing up, I would have people ask me if I was a Christian.
Mm.
And that sentence or question, that when people would ask me that, it was a huge trigger, because they were asking me if I was a good person or a bad person. And it just, the question itself just was very confusing,
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, as to how do you answer that? No, I'm not. I'm Jewish. But what does that, you know, what does that mean?
yeah,
You know, but there's but it's interesting, the things that we grow up with, and words that we hear that are trigger words.
Mm.
And so learning how to wisely change those patterns, those words, and change our understanding of those things is a really interesting process as we grow and develop.
Yeah.
You know, the first question someone asked me when I tell them I'm a metaphysician or a spiritualist, do you believe in God? That's
Yeah.
the first thing that comes out of their mouth. And then I go in and tell them, yeah, I believe God's in me, and I'm talking to you now.
That shuts the whole conversation down, right? Just shuts it down.
Well, I think some of that comes from the idea that you do metaphysical and you're talking with the other side, that somehow it's, you know, it's occult, it's bad, it's, you know, I think also in the Bible they say, you know, don't associate with people like that. And I think it's because in those days, well, and probably these days too, there are a lot of charlatans, a lot of people who were really using other people to get their own means, who weren't genuine metaphysicians. But still, I would say if they ask you, are you a Christian, or are you God, or do you believe in God, you have to say, what kind of judgments have they got in their minds?
Right.
I mean,
Totally.
this is it of theirs. I said, it's not none of their business whether you're a Christian or whether you believe in God. You know, what's it got to do with them? Yeah.
Quite honestly, I could just ask another question behind that. And it wouldn't be very nice, because what is that, you know, I've had this happen, Marcia, too, like when I was young, and okay, so I've had the grandmother I was just talking about, she's very, very much a Christian, and she had been her whole life. And my mother, because of a really bad situation that happened with a family member, and she did not follow the religion whatsoever. Because of that one thing that happened, she related it to, you know, being a charlatan. So she never touched it. And so people would ask me often, so are you a Christian? And I would fib because I didn't want to hear the baloney. I was too afraid to say that I was a metaphysician as a child, as a young child. I just didn't know how to respond to what they would say next. So I would just say yes. And then I got mad at myself because it was like, well, I don't believe that way. I believe, my way, that it's within myself. However, it took a long time for me to get strong in that, to say, instead of answering the question,
Mhm.
I could just ask another question, what does that refer to you? Like if I were to answer you that question, what does that mean to you? Now I would do it because I'm much more stronger in my, who I am, and that it is with,
Yeah.
you know.
As a young child, you don't have that option a lot of times, like when you're talking to adults or, or something like that. And like with me, I remember being in Girl Scouts, and we were in the car and everybody's just talking, and some of the little girls were talking about Christmas coming up. And I would say, oh, that sounds so exciting. And we're getting ready for Hanukkah coming up. And, it just, I was just all excited, la-di-da, la-di-da. And the mom that was driving us stopped the car
What?
and turned and looked at me and said, "Are you a Jew?"
Oh, no.
And I said, yeah, and Hanukkah's coming up and I'm really excited. And she threw me out of the car.
No way.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
I was a little girl.
Oh my-
She made me get out and walk.
That's-
And I didn't even know exactly where I was at. And, that's, those kind of experiences that, of people making assumptions about what words mean and what, how, what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, and that kind of stuff. And I, there I was like, what did I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I had no idea. I was like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Why does this make me a bad person? And, it's kind of I don't know, the topic of wisdom and judgment, learning how to recreate those terms within myself, and relearn some of these concepts, so that that I kind of, it's like after a while, then you can finally, or I can finally recreate those situations and understand them in a different way.
Yeah.
And, because those are the things that that color our concepts and color our understanding of life as we go along, because we have all of these different experiences, and that's what creates our inner dictionary. So, for me, it's been really important to recreate my inner dictionary. And I also had to recreate my understanding of Jesus, and being able to, look at different religions, and who was Jesus and what did Jesus teach, and all of that kind of stuff, to be at peace with all of these different terms.
Well, it gave you another avenue to go to too. You could either say the same thing or not say the answer to that, and say there's about 3 different avenues to go through. after you, the next time this question comes up, you can either say, no, or yes, and, all right, I'm expanding. And is it, are you talking about yourself? There's so many different directions to go on right now, and that's wisdom, is to be able to know that there's other avenues and other streets to go to. The streets and avenues go in different directions.
Yeah.
I find even now, it depends who I'm talking to. If you know, they ask if you go to church, you're saying, well, I grew up in the Church of Scotland, which is a very easy, kind church to be in, but I also attended many others depending on where I lived. So I got into spiritualism a bit late, but I remember a fellow worker when we were talking about spiritualism, she was just said that's the work of the devil. That's the work of the devil. And I decided not to argue with her because I could see that she was so fixed in that opinion. So sometimes I just say, look, I belong to a meditation group. That's easy. Nobody's asking anything. Meditation, lying. Other times I say I belong to a spiritualist group. And then I feel obliged to say, you know, it's a wonderful group. Everybody's kind. They promote kindness and understanding. And it's a very, and we believe in a higher power. Well, everybody has their own belief, but yeah, generally there's a belief in a higher power. And it's a very nice and kind place to be. And I don't really dwell on the other side and how we can communicate, because that frightens people, I think, who don't know. And they think that you're some kind of freak. The people I know better, who I know are open to it, I'll talk openly to. But I think you have to sort of temper your answer according to what you think the person can take, or how much you're willing to stand your ground and try and explain or whatever.
Well, you gave
Yeah.
them a different way of looking at things.
Yes.
What you say, part of it was never heard by those people. You
Yeah.
know, when someone hears a word they haven't heard before, they expand themselves.
Right.
Enough, America doesn't know spiritualism like UK, I would say. There's like a lot of people that go, spiritualism?
Yeah. So
What is that? You know, well, it was very interesting telling the person that purchased the chapel. So we did have someone purchase the chapel, and
Good.
yeah, thank you.
Wow.
His name is
Excellent.
David.
It's what?
His name's David. And he says, so what kind of church was this? I said, you probably have people come by and say, I said, because this chapel has been around since 1964. And I said, and Reverend David came in 1970 and has been the senior pastor. And I told him how long and all the above. And then it created for him to say, so what kind of, and I do not believe he, follows a religion. But I do see him as a little bit spiritual some way, right? And he loved our, Peace I Am Still, beautiful stained glass. And I hope he keeps that. And anyway, he had said, so what do you guys believe in? And I said, oh, spiritualism. And I just said it just like, matter of fact. And he's like, and I go, well, you're familiar with metaphysicians? And he's like, yeah. And I said, well, just take it another degree, even deeper. I said, it's all about, the love of self and knowing that we are, God is within and we take care of ourselves. This is, we're unique individuals. And, and I just kind of gave him a little, and he's like, wow. I said, very loving, and same kind of deal you were saying. I just, I wasn't going to say, well, we talk to spirits and
exactly.
the spirits come through when they're leaving and they kind of show up at this building. And then David sends them off, and sends them to their light, and he gives them a piece of his light so they can move on. I didn't say any of that stuff, Imagine that one. He'd be like, what? They're going to come here? And the funny part is he's his room for now is the chapel room. I giggle. I thought, oh, that's where his bed is.
What kind of businesses does he do?
He has built homes and then sold them later, like really nice, beautiful homes, not just, fixing them up and, selling them. He usually makes them really different and unique. Like he's putting, getting the beams to show on the roof. So he's doing some different things, like he beautifies it.
Oh, okay.
So he said it'll take a couple of years to get it, really the way he wants it. And he plans on staying for quite some time. So that's good. And so I don't think he's going to sell something right away or, within the next couple of years. I think he's going to enjoy the space. And so I was really happy to hear that.
Cool.
I said, it's such a beautiful, I said, most people, every time they walk into the door, they pause and take a breath and say, wow, this feels really good. So know that this place is really protected. He says, well, I've always been pretty lucky. And I said, yeah, you'll feel what I'm saying. You'll feel it. And so I said, but you may have someone knock on the door and say, wow, where's Reverend David? And I'll be like, I'm not a reverend. I said, no, you can send him one street over at 4750. He's in 2nd Street, right over there. That was fun.
I need to say something right now because this is kind of emotional for me because I really feel like that chapel and Reverend David actually saved my life. I was afraid of myself for so many years because of the experiences that I had, and didn't know what to do with that information. And even when I came to the chapel, I was like, I actually even asked Reverend David if he was going to try to convert me. And, I didn't know what to expect or, and I found out how to appreciate myself and to value myself in a way that I never, ever had known before. And I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful. So that's really.
I think
I spent a lot of hours in that building,
Yeah, I miss it.
He said, so are you guys okay that I bought it? And I was like, we're okay that you bought it, yes. And he goes, so you guys aren't, how do you feel about, not being here? And I said, well, I'm here. I said, I love it here. I love this space. Yet this space is within me. It's everywhere. I said, what I learned here, it will never leave me. So I said, I'm just glad that you are taking the space of that, all that, all the years of all the things for change for people. We did so many classes in here. Reverend David's done them since, a certain date. I told him, and I said, so you are receiving the energy of that. I said, however, and I was, sentimental in that space. I really was, because he brought it back to that moment of, well, I'm not non-feeling, that's for certain. I feel for sure this change. And I said, and the one thing that we are about, I told him, is change. And so we accept that. He was like, wow.
Wow.
I do
Well-
miss the sort of physical being there with people, because you get to know people, you have an opportunity to chat. And for me, because I don't really know very many people here at all, it's nice to have that opportunity to just have that human contact for a while. It's nice to be on Zoom, but it's not quite the same. But circumstances are circumstances, and you've just got to go with the flow. It has to happen, you know. That's life. That's life. Oh,
Yep.
Well, are you, because I haven't been in on the know here. So are you gonna continue doing the classes and kind of operating the same as you always operated, just without a building?
About how we go about our change, we'll see about it. If we do it would be like, sole proprietorship, basically doing our development through ourselves,
Well, I'm still doing classes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Cool. Are you still doing readings with Dr. Beck?
Yes.
Okay, I need to get that done. That's
Yeah.
on my agenda now that everything else has gotten cleared up.
Yeah, nothing ends. I mean, we don't end. Yeah, so nothing.
Yeah, we're right here. Here we are.
so,
Nothing.
so David, are you still doing the Dr. Beck? Is it once a month?
I haven't got back yet.
Okay, yeah. You were doing something on a Thursday. A Thursday I can't do, I have my one real activity of the week on Thursday, so I can't do a Thursday, but I was just curious if you were getting back to that.
That's on my list.
Okay. Good.
We'll keep you posted on that, and for sure, on the meetup group. We'll post and everything there when we get, acclimated to what we are doing and that kind of thing. And then I'll be more active with sending out the emails, that kind of thing. It's just been, we've been really in change quite a bit, and haven't been able to really have much time to send out emails and things like that. So that'll come about too, and keep everybody posted where we are, etc. I am, for myself, I'm gonna have a brick and mortar, location for the hypnosis, but it also has enough room, like a sitting area that has enough room for, chairs and things like that, that we can, create a space to have, wouldn't have like 20 in there, I don't think. But, there's enough space in there for, gathering and stuff like that. So that'll be a little bit north of Pantano off of Broadway. So it's kind of in your more neck of the woods there, Jackie.
Good.
On the side of town. So
Good.
yeah, so I was talking to David this morning about possibly maybe doing those classes there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. That'll be towards more June. And yeah. So we're just working it out. We're just sorting it out. All right.
Well, now that the building's sold, you have time and energy for that, so I'll just see that happening in the
Yeah.
easiest and best way for all of us.
For sure. So with that, we could do our healing meditation. See how it works? Just goes right into the flow. All right, let's get comfortable in our chairs and let us concentrate on our breath. As this breath moves through the nostrils, it relaxes each muscle, nerve, and vessel in our being. This breath is what sustains you. It is the breath of life. Feel the relaxation that this breath brings to your being. As this relaxation moves gently in and around each part of your being, it turns into something very beautiful called love. You recognize this love as being alive and active with each breath. Just relax and recognize. As you exhale, you release physical toxins and negative attitudes you have towards yourself and all people concerned. Relax recognize, and release. As you are releasing the toxins and attitudes, they are being dispersed into the I am. Gently allow this breath to settle into the feet area. This is the understanding part of our being, and as you understand yourself clearly, then you understand the world that you move in. Just relax and recognize. Feel all tension, nervousness, and frustration leave as this breath moves to the ankles and up the legs, feeling all agitations and irritations being dissolved. Relax, recognize, and release. As this breath moves to the hip area, relax and release that which does not belong to you. The hip represents independent movement, and you are now free to move in life and free to be you. Very gently allow this breath to move to the base of the spine and the small of the back. Allow the breath to stay here a few moments. This breath becomes stronger and stronger, for this is a strength area. Strength is confidence, security, and firmness. Now allow the breath to move up the spine. As this breath touches all vertebrae, muscles, and nerves, you feel enlightened, giving up the burdens that do not belong to you and taking care of what does belong to you. As this breath moves up the spine, you feel confident, secure, and firm. Relax, recognize, and release that which does not belong to you. As this breath touches the shoulders, feel all tension, nervousness, and frustration leaving. The shoulders represent responsibility in life, and know with each breath that you are doing your responsibility in life with freedom and ease. You also allow all other people to do their responsibilities with the same freedom and ease. Allowing this breath now to move down the arms, relaxing, recognizing, and releasing, reaching the hands. The hands are the giving and receiving part of our being. We give to receive and receive to give. As this breath is in the hands area, feel the breath between your hands and how good this breath feels. This goodness is you, and you are extremely good. Take this goodness that is you and place it in the lower abdomen area. The greatest gift of all lies here, life. You are full of life, and life is full of you. Life is happiness, health, and wealth. You eliminate all that hinders you in life, and you put order into your life. Order is the adjusting of all mind powers, moving in harmonious manner for life. Very gently now, allowing this breath to move to the stomach area. The stomach is the judgment area. And let us fully and freely release all mistakes and judgments that we have made that have led to mistake in action. Replace with correct judgments that lead to correct action. Relax, recognize, and release. Feeling all tension, nervousness, and frustration leaving. Allowing this breath to move to the heart area. The heart is the love area of our being, and with each beat of the heart, love moves to each part of our body. We radiate this love, and wherever we go, this radiance is felt, and the universe gives back to you that radiance. Relaxing, recognizing, and releasing. That does which does not belong to you. Very gently allowing this breath to move to the throat area. The throat is the power area in life, and you are in command of your life. You are at ease with that command. Relax, Recognize and release that which does not belong to you. Very gently allowing this breath to move to the back of the head, to the very crown of your head. From the tips of your toes to the crown of your head, you are relaxing, recognizing and releasing. As you're in this relaxed state, think, feel, or see yourself walking down a path. You feel the path beneath your feet. You notice the grass that lines this path. You notice the sun twinkling through the trees that also line this path. As you walk down the path, there's a gentle breeze that touches your body. This is the breath of life. It allows you to take the next step in knowing yourself. As you walk down the path, there's a clearing in front of you. As you walk into the clearing, the softness of the grass touches your feet. Knowing that you are very protected, you walk into the clearing. There is a body of water that is crystal clear and warm to your touch. There are paths that lead away from the clearing. As you walk into the body of water, if you choose to go into the water, submerging completely, breathing freely, and all organs functioning properly, know that you are very protected. If you choose to lay beside the water, absorbing the 4 elements, the sun, water, air, and earth, or you may choose to explore the paths, feel free to do so and enjoy. remembering all that you have seen, sensed, felt, or heard, feeling very refreshed and keen. You notice your healing clarity from your healing circle. You notice that every one of us surround that healing circle, and you notice that your healing breath starts to expand to touch each and every one. We become one healing breath, one healing breath. We direct this healing breath to the healing box. And for all the souls making and have made transition, all the institutes of health that state that peace is the journey and destination. All the winds, rains, snows, the movement of the earth, they're all protected and healed. And as I give the healing presence to you, and as we move toward our path, we notice anything changed, moved, or taken away. And when you're on your path, your mental and physical consciousness becomes aware, remembering all that you have seen, sensed, felt, and heard, feeling very refreshed, alert, and keen. And when your mental and physical consciousness is fully aware, open your eyes. Jackie, how did you do? You got yours is muted there. You're muted.
Yeah,
Is that better?
there you go.
Sometimes I press screen, nothing happens and I'm pressing away. That was very nice. I sat in in the pool of water, warm water, and I was thinking about the words of taking care of that which belongs to you and leaving the rest. And I think I've spoken to you before. I always have this I think I was a sheepdog in my last life. You know, I want to have everybody corralled and everything right, and I want to fix everybody's problems. And you know, and I was just thinking, you know what? Just focus on yourself and doing the best for yourself and being kind and wise for yourself, and then radiate out to others. And because we're all part of everybody else, that will happen. And stop beating myself up for, you know, things that I'm not always kind and wise about, just to keep focusing on what is it. So instead of, I think we talked about this before, we do a lot of judgment. Well, I do a lot of judgment. I think you see people, you hear them, it's like a constant judgment. You're reading them, you're reading into them, you're reading from your own point of view with your own ideas and judgments. And I'm thinking, you know, it drives you nuts. So you just have to leave that behind and just try and chill. Just put out love to yourself and everybody else, and just try. And it's certainly a work that's in constant motion. And it's just trying to remind myself constantly, don't let things bug you. You can't fix everybody's problems. You can only fix your own problems. Get more wise about why you do certain things, and then work with that. So that was very nice. So thank you.
Baby steps. It reminds me of, we were just talking about the chakras, and we were talking about, you know, being in the first chakra for so long, and then, you know, moving up into that, and it just, you know, both powers are right along with it, you know. And you were saying judgment and wisdom, it's like, of course. Like, that's where we are. Yes. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Lady J, how did you do?
Well, I decided I was gonna walk the entire time, and I guess I did. I don't know. I kind of drifted in and out of reality. And I did a little review of a lot of different things in my present life, and there didn't seem to be a message. So, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
You were in your energy. Yes.
Yeah, I was just a little disappointed that I didn't get a message, because usually I do. So, but you know, today's today.
What would you say to that, David? You always get a message. It's always there.
What did she say?
I didn't get a message.
She wants a message?
No, she didn't. Well, she didn't get a message in her meditation, is what she was saying.
That is the message.
Yeah.
Does that mean I don't need any message?
That means you're still open to whatever there is. Wisdom is an energy that is in your thoughts. And whatever your thought is, there's a change taking place within you. And know that the change is now active and you are living that change. So you are wise in all the things that you do today, you are wise. And look at it that way. And you'll get a real solid conclusion from that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Reverend Marcia, how did you do?
I just really had I just kind of went deep into this calm state and really enjoyed that. And yeah, I'm just really grateful. I've got a lot of gratitude today. Thank you.
David, how did you do?
Well, I'm very thankful for the energy that I brought up in this world. And I still have more to share. And the thing here is that it's going to be surprising to me what I'm going to share. So I'm going to accept I am who I am and live who I am. Thank you for allowing me to do that.
Thank you. Yes, we all thank you. I too felt the same, Marcia, about Reverend David and all the changes in my life with the things that he presented that I wasn't paying attention to. And they opened up the understanding of the I am inside, and I'm just very grateful too. Yeah. Thank you for all of this. Thank you for spending time with us on this and the energy of wisdom. We move right into, and this is so interesting, Jackie was mentioning it, love. We move right into love, the 12th power of love. And so isn't it just interesting how it just flows right with that and where it is, the going into that space. So be in love. We'll do our gratitude and have a beautiful week. Mother, Father God, we give gratitude and thank yous for this day. We ask for your infinite light of protection to be with us and through us as we move on our path. So when we meet those on our passage, we share the love that is so abundant. And we give thanks for this day. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good week. Enjoy.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Have a great week. Thank you. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.